I think listening to learned participants led by the Dharmacharyas, most venerables, and scholars and experts, it's becoming quite clear, and that Samvad 4 today has come of age. Guru Murti Ji said that Samvad should become a movement, and that was the original idea. But today, with the Krabi declaration, which has just been read out, and the last para is very, very powerful, and in some sense it also sets the tasks for the future, that Samvad 4 aims to provide the philosophical narrative to a paradigm shift in the global discourse. And I think that is what we need. As we speak, the war in Europe is continuing, and we have had some positive movement in that, and we saw that perhaps there could be some start of some discussions because some political leaders are now thinking that enough is enough. But where is the philosophical basis for ending the conflict? And I think a discussion like what happened here, which was a deep reflection on the causes of conflict, whether it is in the world generally, in the international discourse, the politics, or our conflict with nature. But this kind of deeper reflection, which is based on an understanding of Dhamma and Dharma, is very rare. It doesn't happen. I mean, we in the Vivekananda International Foundation, we have scores of discussions on geopolitics, economics, and so many other aspects. But this very basic principles which actually throw a light to how do we see the world, I think that clarity which comes from this kind of discussions is very rare. And I think that is the significance of this Samvad, which is already becoming a movement, and which I think we should take several steps to make this movement spread, create more awareness, and make it strong. Here, it's not the effort of one institution that is going to make this a strong movement. The BGVI, I think, and the initiative taken by the BGVI and Supachai ji in organizing the Samvad 4 in Bangkok and in Krabi, and like-minded institutions which we have identified in some other countries, whether it's in Yangon, Ulaanbaatar, or in other places. We need to expand the community of such institutions, and they should come together. And while we have these big conferences once in a while, but there need to be a constant interaction. And I think your Dhamma Yatras are also can be taken as a part of that effort to spread and to create the awareness about the Dhamma and Dharma teachings. So how do we go forward in bringing the institutions together so that even between the conferences, I think we can start discussing. And fortunately, the institutions which have gathered here today to bring this Samvad 4, whether it is the IBC, the BGVI, the universities here, the VIF, they are quite powerful institutions in their own way. They have their own networks, they have own standings, and they have own intellectual prowess. Now, if we put it all together, and we now have a very good framework in the form of Krabi Declaration and in terms of in the framework provided by the earlier declarations, I think now we have a very strong intellectual foundation to take these ideas forward. And we can do several things here. One thing is that perhaps through our institutions like the ministries of external affairs, the Foreign Affairs Ministry here, and some other institutions, we should get the attention of the global leaders to these declarations. This is the right time because people are looking for an alternative framework. Perhaps the Secretary General of the UN, we could send a copy of this to them. Maybe some of us could go and meet him, explain the meaning of the Samvad as a movement and the principles of Dhamma and Dharma, and perhaps also persuade them that they should also start thinking in terms of having a new look at the whole UN Charter itself. The UN Charter it was conceived several decades ago. I think it requires a change for the 21st century, at least a thinking. So some of these principles, whether it is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, or it is Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, and many other Buddhist principles that we learned about today, the essence of it should come in the UN Charter itself, and we should be looking at it. So I think these kind of discussions, seminars, etc., we should take to these countries and to these leaders. And I know Supachai is very influential. He has, in Mekong countries, he has great influence. And we can perhaps integrate our resources and take these ideas forward. So thank you very much. I think it's been wonderful listening to you. And I think Krabi was also a great choice. This morning when we had that lovely presentation and also some information about the archaeological finds in Krabi and this exhibition outside, and how the link between India and Arikamedu and Krabi, and how Krabi itself was probably a bridge between China on one side and the Roman Greco world and the Indian world here. I think that's a great learning for us. And I must congratulate those who have done this work here. And I think we should take that forward. So this interconnectedness that we are talking about was already there for a long time. And I think we should talk about it, but we didn't know about this. So Krabi was a very good choice for this conference. In the end, I would like to thank our partners who made this possible, and of course VGVI is our co-host, and thank you, sir, for organizing this and making it a wonderful gathering and very informative. I also want to thank the IBC for joining us in this initiative, and the Embassy of India also lent us a great support in organizing this. And then of course we had the encouragement and support of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, the External Affairs Ministry, the Government of India, the support received from the Prime Ministers of India and Japan. Their messages were read out here, and this has always been a great encouragement. But I think without the participation of the religious leaders, the various dharmic sansthans here, both in India and in Thailand, this would not have been possible. This very deep reflection on the causes of conflict that we have had, that would not have been possible. And they are the pillars of great support for us. And the religious roundtables, which have now become a tradition, I think that should continue, that would continue. And we are very thankful to them. And in all of this, I think the guidance of Sri Gurumurti Ji, who is behind this whole initiative starting in 2015, he has led us from the front with the ideas and in many other ways. So Gurumurti Ji's contribution is absolutely unparalleled in this, and we should give a thank. And I'm sure we will continue to get the benefit of his advice and initiative in future also. This has been a very long, effort spread over several months, and Anuttama from the VIF, she led it from the front, and superb arrangements she has made, and I think, and I would also like her team of youngsters, some of whom might be there or might be still be making. Please, that is Anurag there. And I think others are still at work. They want to make your departure. I think they have done a wonderful job. They are the pillars of, the backbone of the VIF's functioning. And not only they organize this, but in their own right, they are thinkers and scholars, and they do a lot of work. So they are all here. I think Anurag I saw, Umang Bhansali I don't see here, and who are the others? Swadip Tendu was there, and of course Krishan. So he, for posterity, he has recorded, and Chandan, where is Chandan? All the arrangements for your bringing you here and taking you back, I think, have been done by him. And of course, there are some people still working in VIF back in Delhi. And I'm sure similarly, there are many people on the BGVI who are also there. So all of you have made us proud. And here is Chandan coming in. And the great hospitality that we have received and the great help that we have received, both in Bangkok and here, I want to thank everyone there. And our ambassador who is not here, but I think his support was also great. So thank you very much.